Welcome, my listeners and probable enemies, to Weird But Not Weirder. On a roll here with review number 3, I'm trying to get at least some sort of schedule going with these videos, but between my job and writing, things get pretty hectic. Also, got a few new still images for the channel, so you guys know that I'm trying to make this into something serious. Anyway, moving on. Dungeon Crawler Carl is written by Matt Dinnerman. The book is something of a hit with audiences, and it isn't hard to see why. It's a fantastic book, and the sequels only add to the lore and the main characters. Since I don't have time to read, I picked this book up on audio first, using a credit, and I have to say, if this ever gets turned on to a Netflix series, I want Jeff Hayes to play the main character and the dungeon's AI. The narrator does a fantastic job, and he's got a lot of range. Moving on to the plot, the book sets itself on Earth during a extra cold winter. Most everyone with a brain is inside and is trying to stay warm. The book's main character is, and as you've guessed from the main title, is called Carl. During one of the coldest nights, Carl's ex-girlfriend's cat, Princess Donut, jumps out of a window. This causes Carl to step outside and attempt to fetch her. The dumbass did this while forgetting to put on pants. Already, I could imagine doing this myself, going out in the freezing cold, hoping the police don't pick me up for being underdressed, or to save a crying cat that won't shut up. It turns out that this was perfect timing because a galactic mining and entertainment organization decided at this very moment to conquer the planet. Within the blink of an eye, nearly every living being on Earth is killed in an instant. Those who were outside at the time then have to rush towards the entrances of the aliens' game show. Cold, having no pants and holding his pet cat, Carl finds himself inside the dungeon and is forced to play the aliens' sick game. Now, the characters. Throughout most of the book, the perspective is first person. We see through the eyes of Carl as he tries everything he can to survive the dungeon's first floor. Carl reminds me as your everyday kind of person. The first book does touch on his past, and you get glimpses of the toxic relationship he had with his ex-girlfriend. Overall, Carl has a problem with authority. He is physically fit, but he isn't afraid to throw a punch when the situation calls for it. He is the kind of person who doesn't have many friends, but he is loyal to the ones he does have. The character who really steals the show, however, is the MC's cat, Princess Donut. A show cat, Princess Donut is something of a wild card. It's hard to get into the character as I don't want to spoil the book for any potential readers or listeners. She is one of the fan favorites, however. The next character is an unknown variable. Mordecai is the dungeon guide. Every team who goes into the dungeon has one, and it is their job to provide just enough information to the dungeon crawlers to make sure that they are entertaining to their alien masters. Once a dungeon crawler himself, in a previous game, Mordecai has a solid century of experience on how the game and organization running this place works. All Mordecai wants to do is finish his indentured service to the dungeon and leave to forge his own destiny among the stars. What I like about this book, the moment I finished this book, I brought the entire series. That should tell you something. This book has a good balance of fighting, game mechanics, and story building. Most authors who write lit RPGs have this notion that character levels equals character development, or they want to fill in the book with stupid grinding. But everything in this book, including the enemies, have a purpose. Criticisms. This is the author's first book, so I'm sure that some people will find a few beginner mistakes, but it is enjoyable. The real issue might be the whole alien thing and them using dungeons to wipe out alien species just to steal their resources and make entertainment, but you can imagine humans doing this sometime in the future. Overall, a fantastic book. I do want Netflix to pick it up. Not live action, however. And never live action. You need animation for this series. An entire season based around single book, you make bank, Netflix, basically. Just don't do one movie per book because it needs to be fleshed out and you need to keep a good season going. Anyway, you guys have a fantastic day out there. Over here in Australia, it's getting pretty hot. It's summer here. And I hope you have a fantastic new year.